So you resell online and you're looking for a new inventory system. Maybe you have a system going right now, but it's not working efficiently for you and you're looking to upgrade your system. This is going to be a great video to show you two of the best systems out there for keeping track of your inventory. The two systems we're going to talk about today is the box system and the bin system. We're going to talk about the upsides and the downsides to both of these systems so you can make an informed decision on which one is going to work best in your business. Now let me start this video before we get into both systems and tell you that if you are not using an inventory system, if you are a beginner reseller and you are putting your items in the corner of the room and you're having to go dig through the items to find which items sold, you are making a huge mistake. As you are digging through all of that mess to find your inventory, you are wasting time, and time is money. So if you just take those items and put them directly into an inventory system after you list them, you are going to save a ton of time. As a beginning reseller, what I would suggest to use is the bin system. So what I'm going to do is hop into that system right now, show you how to set it up, how it works, and then we'll hop into the box system after that. So in my personal opinion, the bin system is going to work great for first-time resellers, and there's a few reasons for that. Number one reason is you do not need shelves to make this system work. With the box system, you really need shelves because you need to easily be able to pull them out. The boxes don't stack up evenly, but the bin system, they stack very well. So for example, if you had 100 items listed, you would only need 3 to 4 of these bins, and you can stack them in the corner of a room, in your apartment, in your living space, and be able to pull inventory super fast. So basically, here's how the inventory system works. All these bins are lettered and everything on the inside is numbered. So it's super easy to find. Where do we put these letters and numbers? We put them in our eBay custom SKU. If you're using a cross-listing service like Autoposher, when you import your listings over, you're able to have the custom SKU field there. So whenever an item sells, you can either refer to Autoposher or eBay to find your inventory. And like I said, about 3 to 4 bins should fit about 100 items, depending on what you put in them. Obviously, if you put bigger jackets, heavy jeans, things like that, you're gonna take up more space. But if you have a bunch of shirts, a bunch of like smaller dresses, those will fit very, very easily in here. You can fit upwards to 50 items in a bin. And then if you have bulky items, anywhere between 20 to 35. So I typically pick these bins up from Target, but I do have all the products that are gonna be within this video, including the boxes, the bins, the bags, everything. They're all gonna be linked in the description. And that's an Amazon affiliate link, so it does support the channel if you do purchase something from there. It doesn't really cost you any more. If you have Prime membership, most of those are Prime shipping as well. And as I talked about before, I put all of my SKUs into my eBay listing in the custom SKU field. If you don't know how to access the custom SKU field, or if it's not available on your listing, I'll show you how to turn that on right now. So you want to know how to put a custom SKU onto your listing. If you have this set up, the custom SKU field set up, you'll see it right underneath your title. If you look on your phone, it will be all the way down on the bottom of your item specifics. You'll have a custom SKU field where you can add whatever custom SKU you want to your listing. If you do not see this field either on your phone or on the computer, you need to turn it on. So at the top right hand corner, you'll see a little button right here, and you have to do this on the computer, by the way. Do not try to do this on the phone. It won't work. Unless you log into the eBay app on the browser, you might be able to get this to work. But if you do it on the computer, super simple. You're going to click on the See Title options, and then at the bottom, you'll see a custom SKU button. What you need to do is click this on like you see mine on right here. And then from there, you should now have a custom SKU both on the computer and on your phone. So for example, you can see this listing right here. It is already in my new box system. It is number 212 and $26.75 is the price I paid. This custom SKU field is only able to be seen by you. No customer can see it. So you can put all the information you want about your item in this custom SKU, either for tracking purposes or for financial purposes, tracking your inventory, whatever you want, put into this custom SKU. Only you can see it. All right, so let me show you an example of a piece that is in inventory right now. I'll just grab the one that's on the very top. This has been AQ behind me, and the item that I pulled out is AQ8. So I do put the letters and the numbers on the actual item. I don't just put number 8. The reason being, if this ever got mixed up into another bin, at least I would know it's supposed to be in bin AQ. If I just put number 8 and I had 15 bins out here, if I put this in the wrong bin, it would be almost impossible. I have to dig through all of the bins to find it. So I always suggest putting the letters and the numbers on your item. Now I do suggest not to just take the items after you're ready to put them in inventory and throw them into the bins. Again, this just saves time. Sure, you could take your item AQ8, throw it in the bin, and leave it there, but it could move its way all the way to the bottom and then you're having to dig through all the items to find it. It's really easy to find AQ8. For example, if AQ10 was on the top, I know AQ8 should be 2 under AQ10. That's how easy it is to grab inventory when you have everything in order. I know this is one of the questions I'm going to have in the comments. How do you refill AQ8? Are you going to write down AQ8 on the piece of paper and then know the next item you list goes in? Sure, you could do that, but what we did was we used these clear bins so that way we can see exactly how much inventory is left in the bins. So as we saw a bin that was emptied, we would pull that bin and then we would reload it. So basically we'd take all the items out that were in them, put them all in numerical order, find out where our holes are. You'd refill all your inventory. As you're putting inventory in, you're stacking in the bins nice and neatly. And then once it's full, you're done with that bin, you go find another empty bin. This is one of the biggest downfalls with this system is every time you reload inventory, you have to pull everything out and put everything back in, which is a little bit of a waste of time. And later in the video, when we cover the box system, you're gonna see how much easier it is to condense the inventory, grab empty boxes, and reload your inventory. Now, one of the benefits you have to the bin system over the box system, you're able to reuse these bins. They're very durable. Some of these I've had for 4 years now. I have no issues with them. So that's one of the clear benefits. After you're done with your inventory, if you have extra bins left over, you can use it to store household goods. You can also sell them too and get some of your money back, whereas the boxes, you really can't do that. And again, stacking is huge. You don't need shelves to make the system work. Obviously, I have shelves behind me, but shelves do make it easier on your back. So if you are using the stack method and you're having to pull inventory, everybody who knows the stack method knows the rule that the item that sells that you're ready to pull is always on the bottom bin. So you're having to unload all of those bins and then put them all back on. That could really be bad on your back. And as we go over the box system, you're gonna see it is a little bit more difficult to pull your inventory in the bin system as opposed to the box system, simply because you're pulling it out, having to dig through. Whereas the box system, you're gonna see in just a minute, you're gonna pull that box out. All of your items are gonna be in order, so you can just see what item is ready to be pulled. You pull it out, you ship it, much easier with a box system. So with that being said, let's go show the box system. So first off, before we start talking about the box system, what I want to do is I'm going to give a huge shout out to Daily Refinement. That's exactly whom I mimic the system after. He has a video on YouTube. I'll tag it down in the description below. Definitely go give him a sub. Huge wealth of knowledge over there. Really, really appreciate his videos. And again, this system wouldn't be possible without his video. So the box system, from experience, easily the best system for somebody who has a larger store. Are you able to fit more items in the boxes than you are in the bins? The answer is yes and no. Yes and no, because the bins will obviously hold more items. The bins are bigger, they hold more items, but unless you are constantly reloading those bins, they are usually about half full from my experience. So for example, this shelf right here had 15 bins on it. After I condensed the inventory and put it into the boxes, I was able to put 18 bins worth of items on this shelf. So I was able to save myself 3 bins just by putting them into these boxes. So again, if you're able to keep your bins completely full, you're gonna get more space out of your bins, that's obvious. But most people are not pulling their bins down every day and reloading them, because that would be a huge waste of time. So if you can see to the left of me or right of me, however it's flipped over there, see the clear difference between the two shelves. And I wanted to show this on camera, so I left this one the same. This is the bin system. This is how much space the bin system takes. As you can see, to get up to the top ones, you really have to reach high. And Kayla is height challenged. People say I'm height challenged. Shout out Trisha, but I'm not height challenged. These are a little bit harder to grab, especially for somebody who's a little bit shorter. If you use the box system and you adjust your shelves, you're able to get more on the shelves and take up less space. And if you are a taller person and you wanted to use an extra shelf, you have space here to put an extra shelf. So you could potentially get up to 20, maybe 21 bins worth of inventory on a shelf like this. But this is one of the clear downsides to this method, is you have to use shelves. I don't know how you would make it possible without shelves, because these boxes don't stack up very well. So shelves are needed. If you're in an apartment space or in a smaller house and you don't have room for shelves to stick out in your garage, maybe that's the point you go and get a storage unit, because you're expanding your inventory. That's where actually all of this is going. We're moving it to a storage unit. But yes, this is a clear downside. You basically have to use shelves with this system. I do have these shelves linked in the description of this video, so if you want to purchase them from Amazon, you could also go to Costco, places like that. Home Depot sometimes has sales on shelves like this. Also, one of the questions I got on the box system as opposed to the bin system, you do reuse letters and numbers. The box system, you don't. You can if you want to. For example, let's say I go all the way to 9,999 and I've sold 1 through 5,000. Sure, I could go back and start with number 1 and reload, but there's no real reason to do that. There's also clear benefits to not doing that. For example, you'll be able to tell where your oldest listed inventory is. And if I get to number 1 through 2,000 after I'm done putting all of this inventory in, and in 6 months I have something in between the numbers 1 to 2,000, I know that is a super old listing and I need to clearance it out or just get rid of it at that point because it's not selling. And when it comes to pulling inventory, so much easier. So you're going to use the same method that I showed earlier to put your SKU numbers in, but when you pull an item, much easier. So for example, if number 245 sold, what I would do is I'd go to this bin, pull it out, 245's right in the front. All you're doing is looking at the number in the front and the number to the side, to either side, and that'll tell you where the item is. So 118 is in the front. If I sold number 125, it's obviously not going to be behind 141 because that's going up in numerical order. So it'd be behind number 118. Super easy to find. All you have to do is just make sure your first items in each bin are showing the number, which is at the very top. And real quick, I know you see the numbers on the front. This was the old inventory number. This is the new inventory number, 240. This is a thermal printed label. The reason I chose to use these is, one, I had extras of these laying around from back in the day when I used Amazon. Also, I think it's a cleaner look and it's easier to grab an inventory. I don't have to worry about these rubbing off. So I'll show you right now how to set up these labels, but you do need a thermal printer. So if you're interested, I do have the thermal printer and the labels linked down below. But it's not a necessary step, so just keep that in mind. All right, so for this example, I'm using my Dymo 450 Turbo. If you have another label printer of another type, you're gonna have to look up how to do this on that label printer. But for those of you who have a Dymo, it's gonna be the same process. So first things first, you're gonna go into your labels, go to your address labels, and this very first label is the one you wanna select. After you're done selecting this one, what you're gonna do is you're gonna head over to Insert, and you're gonna double click on the counter button. From here, you'll see that the number pops up 001. So if you're just starting out with your inventory system, perfect, you're ready to go. What you're gonna do is you're gonna enlarge this, and then you're going to center it. So we're gonna click on this button right here. I know the pop-ups probably aren't showing on the screen, but you're gonna click this, you're gonna click the center, and then from there, you're gonna change your font size to 72, and you should look like this, and you are ready to go. From here, you're gonna change your number of copies to however many you want. If you put in 50, it's gonna go from 001 all the way up to 050, and then you're ready to put those onto your inventory. If you already did this once and now you need to start over at 051, what you're gonna do is you're gonna click on this 001. You're gonna click on the properties button. Again, this isn't gonna show on screen because the software I use doesn't capture this, but you're gonna hit properties, and then under counter settings, that very first option, it's gonna say start at, and then you're gonna put in 051 and then hit OK at the bottom, and that should change your number to 051, as you can see. And then from there, you just hit print again, and you'll print another 50. If you had duplicates, say you have 2 size large Ralph Lauren shirts brand new with tags, and you need 2 number 45s for that, what you would do is you go in properties and do the exact same thing. All right, let's head back over to the box system. All right, so back to the box system. A few last things I want to cover before we head off. The way you condense it is very easy, and it's super easy to teach. That's why this system is great, especially if you have employees. Really easy to teach them how to grab inventory, condense inventory, as opposed to the bin system. So with this system, what you'll do is when you run out of boxes, what you'll do is you'll condense your inventory. So you'll take the first box down and you'll push all the inventory to the front. Then you'll take the first stack of items in that very next bin and you'll move it to the back, and then you'll slide the second bin's items forward, so on and so forth. So basically you're just taking and keeping the numbers in numerical order, and you're just moving everything down, and at the end you should be left over with some bins, and at that point those are the bins that you use, or the boxes. Those are the boxes you use to reload your inventory. And depending on how big your inventory is, this could be a weekly process, it could be a monthly process. It really just depends on how your setup is. Now, some people will say that's a clear downside to the system because they don't want to have to condense. But with the bin system, every single time you add inventory into the bin system, you have to take everything out and put it back in. So basically you're doing the same thing, but you're actually wasting time by doing that because you're having to unload and reload, unload and reload. Whereas this, you literally just grab the items and move them to the back. Much simpler process. The clear downside we talked about before, you can't really reuse these boxes after you use them for a while. They tend to get damaged. You really won't want to ship anything in these. Maybe you can use them for packing material or something like that after they've been destroyed, but these will get destroyed. So you will have to repurchase boxes over time. So with the bin system, I'm storing these out in the garage. We're actually going to climate control this garage, and this is going to go to a climate controlled storage unit. But if you use the bin system, you don't have to worry about your items getting damaged because your bins close up, whereas the boxes are kind of loose. So that's a clear downside. If you're storing these out in a humid area where it gets hot or gets really cold, or if you get bugs in your garage every once in a while, you won't really want to use this system because you're going to get damaged items. So over these next few weeks until we put this into our storage unit, I'm gonna be doing some order pulling lives, and then after I'm gonna be packing up my orders. So if you ever see me live in the morning, feel free to come in, ask your questions. No question is a stupid question. This way you can get your questions answered about these two systems, about shipping, whatever you need. I hope I got to every point on this inventory system. If you have any further questions, drop them in the chat as well. I'll get those answered. And again, if you're interested in any of the supplies in this video, they're all linked down in the description of the video below. So appreciate you guys hanging out, and we'll catch you on the next video. Peace.